Dear esteemed delegates and faculty advisors, on behalf of the entire SRMUN Atlanta staff and Board of Directors, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to SRMUN Atlanta 2021. My name is Noah Vetter, and I have the honor of serving as your Secretary General for this year's conference. It has been 2 years since we last gathered in Atlanta, and in that time, we as individuals and as a Model UN community have been challenged and forced to adapt in ways we could not begin to imagine. Yet despite the many challenges, we have demonstrated an extraordinary resilience and capacity for growth. Now, as we return to Atlanta with a new appreciation of the conference experience, I hope that we are able to use our resilience as a foundation on which to build stronger relationships and as a platform from which we can work together to encourage positive change. This year's conference theme, Fostering Global Youth Empowerment and Leadership, was inspired by the strength and leadership young people around the world have demonstrated in responding to crises such as COVID-19, the climate emergency, rising authoritarianism, and economic stagnation. In a time when it would be easy to bury their heads in the sand or focus only on their immediate concerns, young people have stepped up to remind the world of concurrent crises and to advocate for a better future. Yet, despite making up a large part of the world's population, youths rarely have a voice in the arenas of government and business where decisions are made. Rarely are youths given a platform from which to amplify their voices or given a direct role in shaping the future that will affect them most. It is for this reason that we need greater efforts to foster global youth empowerment and leadership, and to find ways to amplify and unify youth voices into a force of irresistible change. As one young leader, Greta Thunberg, puts it, we showed that we are united and that we, young people, are unstoppable. As the cover of this year's Delegate Resource Guide seeks to highlight, and as we highlight explicitly later in the guide, there are many small ways to foster empowerment and leadership, from political participation and consumer power to direct advocacy through protests and collective action. But ultimately, if young leaders wish to foster lasting change, they must act with purpose, engage in difficult conversations with each other and the institutions of power, and ultimately work collectively to shape a better future. In short, many of the principles that we try to encourage through Model UN. It is my hope that you will take the message of youth empowerment to heart in the conference ahead, where many of your topics are related directly to the plight of young people. Consider how you might foster youth empowerment and leadership through your proposed solutions, and how what you propose might inadvertently affect youth. And, to paraphrase my challenge from last year, once this conference is over, I encourage you to use the skills you learn to take your discussion and ideas beyond to other young people. Encourage them to think globally, act locally, and advocate for positive change. Thank you for all of your hard work so far and in the conference to come. We are so excited to once again provide you with an outstanding Model United Nations experience. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker, the UN Secretary General's Youth Envoy, Ms. Jayathma Wickramanayake.
Delegates, friends, greetings from New York. My name is Jayathma Wickramanayake, and I am the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Youth. Thank you for taking part in this Model United Nations conference and committing your time and effort to learn about the processes of the UN and to embody its values. The issues you will discuss throughout the course of this convening, including the climate crisis, peace and security, sustainable development, and human rights, among other topics, are indeed some of the most pressing challenges of our time. And the global pandemic that is ongoing has undoubtedly made tackling these issues all the more challenging. With COVID-19, we continue to face a health crisis as well as an economic and social crisis with no parallel in the history of the United Nations. Yet, while the scope of these issues is immense and complex, I hope this inspires you during your simulation to think of the UN not only as a unique platform for debate and discussion, but also a critical platform for action. From its inception, the UN was envisioned to unite stakeholders everywhere to tackle the world's greatest challenges. As we look to recover better together from COVID-19, now more than ever, we need all stakeholders to join efforts in steering our world onto a more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable path. In many ways, we are at an inflection point in history. The COVID-19 pandemic has served as a wake-up call, and with the climate crisis now looming, the world is experiencing its biggest shared test since the Second World War. In these challenging times, it is young leaders like you who will play a critical role in challenging the status quo and setting our world on track for a better, more sustainable future. With more than half of the world's population under age 30, youth represent the greatest opportunity we have for accelerating development and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. The UN recognizes this and has been working hard to engage with young people more than ever before via Youth 2030, the UN's first ever system-wide youth strategy. This strategy was designed specifically to meet young people's needs, realize their rights, and tap into their possibilities as agents of change. This means also ensuring that the UN's work fully benefits from the insights and ideas of young leaders like yourselves, which is why I am so pleased to see you all engaging in this Model UN conference. Without you, we cannot achieve our collective vision of a more peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world where no young person is left behind. I wish you a great Model UN, and I look forward to working hand in hand with you all to ensure that the UN is ready and able to deliver together with and for young people everywhere.
Thank you, Ms. Wickramanayake. I would now like to thank the SRMUN staff and especially the executive staff, Director General Rachel Winnock, Deputy Director General Austin Brennan, and Undersecretary General Jessica Dosher. And thank you to all of you for joining us for SRMUN Atlanta 2021.